What should you be doing with your herbs? Are you supposed to be pruning them back? Are you supposed to be leaving them? What is the deal? If you are brand new to gardening, or if you just want a little refresher on what you should be doing with the herbs in your garden, then stay tuned and I will tell you all about what you should do to have healthy, bushy herbs that are going to give you food all summer long. Hey, I'm Nadia from EmbracingHarvest.com. If you want to learn all about growing your own food or cooking with delicious ingredients that you grow from your own garden or that you buy from local farmers markets, then stick around and I will tell you all about it. Hit that subscribe button below. So you're growing some herbs. What on earth are you supposed to do with them? Should you be pruning them? Should you be leaving them alone? Do they take care of themselves? Should you be letting them flower? If all these questions are going through your mind, or if you haven't even thought of any of these questions, then stick around and I will tell you what you're supposed to be doing with those herbs. But first off, I want to thank Peggy from A Real Kitchen. She had actually requested this video. She was asking for a video on how to properly prune her herbs. So thank you, Peggy, for that suggestion, and this video is for you and everyone else who just wants to know what you're supposed to be doing with those herbs. So I have had herbs both in containers when I was living in an apartment and when I was living in a house that I knew I wasn't going to stay in. I had herbs in containers, which was awesome. And now I have them here in this new house in my garden. And you treat them pretty much the same way. So you can prune them or not. And by pruning, I just mean like cutting it, essentially. So why on earth would you want to prune your herbs? Well, essentially it is going to make it grow bigger and bushier. And if you're noticing, so if it's in the middle of the summer when you're watching this video, you might notice that your herbs are starting to get really tall and maybe even grow flowers. And you can let that happen, that's no problem. Or you can cut the herb or prune the herb at this point and it will stop it from going to flower. So it stops it from producing that flower. And it also lets the herb get bigger and bushier. So pruning is really cool for that reason, is that you can do it if you want or not. And if you do it, you just get better results. So I'm talking specifically about perennial herbs in this video. A lot of annuals are treated the same way, but not all of them. So pretty much perennial herbs. So anything that you plant one year and then the next year it comes back again. So in the spring, it'll be tiny and you'll see it coming out of the ground or just growing new leaves. And then eventually it will turn into a big bush, hopefully, if everything's going well. And then at that point, you will start to see it getting a little bit taller. And what's happening is it's getting flowers. So that is really the best time to be pruning. Prune around that time. Now you can wait, you can clearly see that I have left my herbs a really long time. I have been very busy launching my online course. So I've clearly neglected my garden, but I'm getting to it now. So it doesn't really matter if I did it earlier or if I do it now. You can do it whenever you want. And all you need to do is just cut the herb, cut the plant. So as a good base guideline, my suggestion is to cut half of the plant off. So if it's a foot tall, let's say, cut half a foot off. So you're keeping half the plant left. You can do a little more than that, like you can cut off 2/3 and leave a third, but cutting half is fine. It's just an easy thing to kind of remember. And you're just snipping it. You're just snipping the top half of the plant off. And you can do all sorts of things with those herbs. I'll actually have some videos coming up and I will link up to them when they're ready of things you can do with some of those herbs that you are cutting off right now. So don't throw them away. You can obviously cook with them, but I'll give you some ideas in some upcoming videos. And if you're finding that you can't actually cut through them, so sometimes the stems of the plant are going to be a little bit harder, almost like twigs off of a tree. In that case, then you're probably going to want to buy scissors, or they're like pruners, that are specifically designed for this purpose, and they cut through bigger stems. You don't have to go that route. You can use just the ones from your regular scissors, but just know that that's an option for you if you can't seem to get through them with those scissors. And that is really it. That is how you prune your herbs. So you just cut off half of it and let the rest of it grow. So what's going to happen at this point after you cut it is it's going to probably do nothing for the first week or so. But then after that, over the next few weeks, even a month, you're going to start to see it keep growing back. And that's why we kept some of that green at the bottom, that half of that plant, because that's what's going to keep the plant alive, and it's just going to grow taller or wider. And it's just going to get bushier, and you're going to have that really tender new growth that's delicious to cook with. So that's why pruning is really good. And if you want to know how often you should be pruning, well, you can do it. You can not do it at all. You don't have to prune. But usually once or twice a summer is great. So right around early summer for you, and then maybe again in the fall. If you have a really long growing season, like if you live in the south in a warm climate, then you could do 3 times, even 4 times throughout the growing season. It really, it's up to you. So thank you again, Peggy, for recommending this video, and I hope it was helpful for you and anyone else who has an herb garden. This is a really good general baseline of what you can do with your herbs. Yes, there might be some nuances to individual herbs, and you can learn about individual herbs if that's the direction that you want to go, but I wanted to keep it really simple and straightforward, something that you can generally do with your herbs. So when they start to flower, cut them off, and then you should see really good growth. And yes, gardening can be this simple. If you find that you are struggling in your garden, that you're finding that you're constantly looking things up, or that you're overwhelmed or frustrated that things aren't easier, then I have a free guide down below that will help you with that. It's going to give you simple, actionable tips that you can use today to help make gardening easier for you. So if that interests you, then there is a free guide down below. Then you can just look in the description and it's there for you. And with that, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.